Welcome to Qureshi's Kebabs in downtown Old Delhi. If you want to see a mouth-watering street food tour in India, then you've come to the right place. What's up everybody? Recently I met up with a badass subscriber named Jasmeet and he took me on a pretty nice Old Delhi street food tour. We had a lot of incredible foods and drinks, and if you want to see the best drink we had, stick around till the end of the video. I think you're gonna like it a lot. Anyway, for the first stop on the tour, we headed on over to Qureshi's, and as you can see, they're cooking up a whole lot of kebabs. Here we got flames and sparks flying all over the place, and I think it's safe to say this kebab maestro knows his stuff. Case in point, check this out. Wow. The maestro just poured some liquefied butter on those kebabs, and that fire is going haywire. And whoa, how in the world is that guy not burning his hands off? It's getting serious around here, and I have a funny feeling we ain't in Kansas no more. So what else do they got around here? They got some rumali roti, aka ultra thin Indian flatbread. This dude's making these things 1,000,000 miles a minute, and personally, I like his style. He's got a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye, and those rumali rotis are looking pretty damn good, so we figured we should get ourselves something to eat. So we got ourselves some Seekh kebab rolls. Can ya blame us? Here we got us some finely grilled kebab meat wrapped up in some rumali roti action and covered in some melted butter. After all, sometimes you're in the mood to max out that saturated fat quotient, so I grabbed myself a piece of this mutton Seekh kebab and got ready to take myself a bite. I just dipped it in some yogurt action first, and then I savagely slammed it down the hatch. And as soon as that meat wad entered my mouth, I started animalistically chomping down on it like a trailblazing Caucasian. And whoa baby, with each successive chomp, that kebab was tasting so good that I started questioning my own sanity. My brain just could not fathom how it was physically possible for a hunk of meat to taste so damn good. Strange as it may sound, with each passing bite, all my life's cares and worries seemed to melt away, much like the butter on top of this Seekh kebab. I mean, just take a look at this chicken Seekh kebab roll over here. Don't you just want to eat that chicken Seekh kebab? The mere sight of that incredible bite is enough to bring my heart an inner sense of peace and an inner sense of joy. That meat is soft and juicy with a slightly smoky, grilled up flavor, coupled with that delicate rumali roti and that melted butter. In fact, it was tasting so edible and incredible that we figured we should get ourselves another plate. This time we got us some buffalo meat on deck. So I grabbed that buffalo meat stick, which was topped off with a secret mix of spices and, of course, some butter, and I started looking at that meat stick. I figured I should probably take myself a bite, so I went on ahead and did just that. And wow, just wow, somehow, someway, that meat was tasting even softer than the previous ones. Jasmeet advised me that I should put some onions on that meat stick, and I couldn't agree more. That's a nice fucking idea right there. So I dipped my meat stick into some mint chutney, and then I took myself a chomp. And man, oh man, did that buff meat taste good. Suffice to say, that innocent animal did not die in vain, baby. So next I got myself a piece of that buff Seekh kebab and started examining it all up close and personal like. Seemed to me like that greasy, glistening bite had the saturated fat I not only wanted, but also deserved, so I bit down on that and oh man. Those previous Seekh kebabs were tasting like a 5 out of 5 Maharaja dogs, but this one? It was tasting so soft, succulent, and sensual that I think I might have to actually give it a 6 out of 5 Maharaja dogs. Needless to say, I was feeling pretty off par by the end of that meal. So next up we sprinted on over to Dil Pasand to get ourselves some Old Delhi biryani. Apparently they cook up all this biryani jazz in a gigantic vat, and I can see they went through quite a bit already. I guess it must be a pretty popular place, so we got ourselves some biryani and took ourselves a seat. Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb over here and say that biryani was looking pretty decent, so I got mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to take myself a bite. So after shoveling out a spoonful of that rice and launching it toward the general direction of my head, I gotta say it was tasting pretty nice. That rice had a mild meaty flavor to it, as if those meat juices had been cooking in that thing for hours on end. So for the following bite, I had myself a pickled chili, which was nice and sour and went well with that rice. Then I got myself a little yogurt chutney and mixed it on into that biryani, took myself a bite, and it was nice and smooth. But then I moved on to the part I had really been waiting for, a little thing I like to call some buff meat. That decent-sized meat was feeling soft to the touch, so I took myself a suave and sophisticated nibble, and whoa. That meat was tasting tender to the max and juicy as hell, and I was loving it. That very well may be the softest meat I've had in India. How soft are we talking? I'd say it was dangerously soft. But although that buff meat was inspirational and life-changing, the actual rice itself was pretty good, but not quite as good as the one I had in Hyderabad. So I think I'll rate this biryani a 4 out of 5 Maharaja dogs. I mean, that rice was lacking that star anise and cinnamon flavor that I got used to in Hyderabad, but nevertheless that was a decent biryani. So next up, we figured we needed something to wash all that chow down, so we got us some love juice. Oh, that's right, you heard me correctly, baby. We each got ourselves a cup filled to the brim with love juice. I didn't really know what to expect from that love juice, but I took myself a savage sip of it. And whoa, baby, it was tasting surprisingly refreshing. Apparently it's made from water, ice, heavy cream, rose syrup, and even a little watermelon chunks floating on the top. And I'd say that cooling yet energizing drink deserves a 4 out of 5 Maharaja dogs. It was simple yet elegant, and somehow, some way, it reminded me that I was truly alive. So next up, we moved on to a place called Shahi Tukda to get some dessert action deep in our stomachs. Now, I don't really know why, but the name of the shop and the name of this dessert are one and the same. It's Shahi Tukda. I'm not sure what that's all about. That's like naming a hamburger joint hamburger. Must be some kinda Eastern thing. Anyway, I took myself a bite of that Shahi Tukda, and man, oh man, was that tasting rich as hell. It's basically chunks of bread that are deep fried in ghee until they're slightly crispy, and then they're topped off with some rabri. Rabri is some kind of condensed milk-based Indian sweet, and it was tasting pretty decent. I think I'd give it a good old 4 out of 5 dogs. It was definitely tasting swadished at the moment, but I think it would be a tad too rich to have every day. Anyway, we figured we'd get ourselves one more item, just one more. So we headed on over to Al Sulman to get ourselves some lassi action. Now this place had fig lassis and date lassis, and both Jasmeet and I had never seen those before, so we figured we'd give them a go. Now, unlike the lassis I had in Varanasi, which were made using traditional methods, these were made using blenders. So to be perfectly honest, I wasn't really expecting much from this lassi, but apparently I was wrong. Apparently I was dead wrong. First up, we had this fig lassi, and we split it up so we could try half a cup each. Now, as soon as we took a sip of that lassi, we were both literally at a loss for words, baby cakes. Basically, it was like a fig milkshake, but I never had a fig in a beverage before, and it was surprisingly good, baby. It tasted kinda sweet, kinda fruity, and kinda fibery, and I love the fact that I might be able to recreate this shake at home. So after clearing out that fig lassi, we moved on to the date lassi. Could be me, but it seems like that lassi is looking slightly thicker than the previous one, so I took myself a sip. And man, oh man, that lassi tasted like a date shake and it had a subtle, sweet date flavor to it. But every once in a while, you got yourself a slightly waxy, slightly liquefied chunk of date in your sip. And although Jaz Meat and I preferred that date lassi, they were both incredible lassis that most definitely deserved a 5 out of 5 Maharaja dogs. What can I say, those life-altering lassis were tasting so good that I think someone better nominate them for a Nobel Peace Prize. Anyway, that about does it for this Indian street food tour, but if you want to see more, then feel free to check out my other videos. I got videos about Kolkata street food and Mumbai street food, and I got those links down in the description box. So don't forget to subscribe for all your dreams to come true, and thanks for watching.